Greetings and happy new day, everyone. Today we are discussing thought vibrations and the law of attraction from the points of William Atkinson. Atkinson was born in the 1860s and published about 50 books. I want to say this one came out in 1906. So we're going to dive right in. William does a great job of connecting scientific reasoning and evidence to the ideals that law of attraction exists, to the ideals that our thoughts have vibrations. No different than the vibrations in the waves, no different than the vibrations of electricity, no different than the vibrations of light. So, thought vibrations is a universal law, no different than the law of gravity. And a lot of the times, because these vibrations are unheard and unseen to man, there's an ideal that it doesn't exist, right? So William does a great job of reinsuring that the law of attraction is in fact a universal law that allows for us to draw in our desires as it allows for us to draw in our fears. So thought is a force. It is a force, no different than a magnet. So we have the ability to attract new ideals, to attract people, to attract new thoughts using the reproduction of our own thoughts, right? So we know we have the ability to call and command different facets of our mind. We have the ability to work towards goals, not just on a physical level, as William refers to as the I do, but also on a spiritual and mental level, which William refers to as the I am, the mighty I am. The ideal that anything we mentally place behind I am is what we are. So we do our best to be intentful about what we put behind I am. So one of the works of Rev Ike would say, we never claim to be sick, right? We never say I am the SICK, right? But instead we would say I am healing, I am getting better, I am rejuvenating, I am resting, I am renewing, but never I am SICK. Rev Ike was very intentional about how we speak onto ourselves and onto ourselves. So here, what we do know in chapter 2, there's a major discussion about thought waves reproducing themselves. And William did a great job of separating our thoughts into two separate groups and naming these groups the active and the passive. And so here, William explains that we have the ability to change keynotes and how he did a great job of connecting other aspects of our lives to help us draw in what we want. And so here, when we have the ability to change keynotes, it requires a lot of personal work, right? And personal work on different levels. One, you getting to know yourself in a way where you recognize when you are vibrating from a negative note, just like you recognize when you are vibrating from a positive note. And after acknowledging it, being able to find strategies that work with you for you to vibrate at a higher light. Why is this important? Your thoughts, your being, is operating off of frequencies. These frequencies multiply when they come into other frequencies, right? And so here what we'll find is that like attracts like. That being said, when we're vibrating from a more positive spirit, when we're putting ourselves in an intentional day, where we're saying from the beginning, I am gonna have a good day. I know that this may be a busy day, but I'm going to make it productive and I'm going to go through it at ease. We're claiming the day that we want, right? And when we see that we have moved away from that positive thinking pattern, we draw ourselves back in. We recognize the negative thinking pattern and we address it. And a lot of the times, we are addressing our negative thinking with negative, right? So instead of saying, oh, I hate that I think like that, you know what? I recognize that I think like that, and I'm using these strategies to change my thinking patterns, right? And it could be a magnitude of different things. I like to use sticky notes to remind me that I am having a wonderful day. So I might put these sticky notes on my door. I may need to put one on my pillow before going to sleep. You just have to be very intentful about creating more of those positive thoughts. Why is this important, right? Why is it important to intentionally pay attention to your thinking patterns? And this is because we have active and passive efforts of thinking, right? So what we do know about passive thinking, passive thinking is controlled by our active thinking, right? So our passive thinking are the thoughts that just come to us automatically, right? And this is why it's important to train your active thinking patterns, right? So when we see ourselves thinking negative, we change it. We change it to a more positive thought pattern. We don't beat ourselves up for thinking negative, but we simply acknowledge it, and we allow for ourselves to create newborn active thought patterns that will later contribute to our passive mindset. And so this is why affirmations are very important, because oftentimes affirmations are not built up in our passive efforts, but they're in our active. So the more you actively use positive, affirmative language with yourself, you're going to feed yourself this language back later on when you're having low energy, when you're having a um maybe it's not so good of a day and you're trying to push through. This is when you're going to be able to use your passive vibrational thinking patterns to change how you are responding now. Okay, guys. So this is going to be the end of today's video, where we are discussing William Atkinson and the importance of training our active and passive mind so that we can live a more free life, a more abundant life, a more positively driven life, which ensures overall health to us. Have a beautiful day, guys.